The dig was quite a challenge of logistics. It was set up to do over a Monday to Friday, sort of 10 till 4. We advertised it around the service, encouraging people who had been on the mapping exercises to keep involved with the project.
The mapping revealed that there were certain places that everyone I mapped with recognised and identified as a homeless place. One of the places that stuck out most was this site behind the pavilion in the grounds of Bootham Park Hospital. So that's why we excavated there.
I'm very grateful to Bootham Park Hospital, who immediately understood what we were going to be doing, gave us their full support. We were very fortunate in that other people who were in decision-making positions got it.
People were told to wear sturdy boots and dress up warm and wear waterproof clothes, and we set to work. It's day one at the archaeological dig, and when we arrived this morning we did a surface collection, so we collected everything we could see, and then we set out the trenches, and the residents decided where to put the trenches. So we have trench 1, trench 2, trench 3.
Defined as 1008, wasn't it?
Is that the same?
Oh no, that stuff there, that's 1009.
It was a case of what are the best places to excavate in terms of working out where we're going to get the best results from and where we would kind of get finds that were able to tell a story after the excavation. We asked guys like Rich and Dan where they thought would be the best places to dig.
One we chose because where people would sit, it would be facing the sun.
There was also, to the south side of the pavilion in the middle of the site, there was another area that had had a lot of culture, so we put a trench in there to see what was going on, and we put a third one in further off towards the fence because we wanted to get a good sample of the site.
Found some pot.
Found pot?
Yeah, found some pottery.
Loads of pot. That's our first bit.
We found broken bits of glass, bits of pottery, found a pipe.
Well, we've got like lots of bits of glass, as Richard pointed out, and there's a bit more. This bit appears to be from a milk bottle. The green stuff Richard reckons is from a sherry bottle. Then we've got bits of building material. That's pottery, but you think it's actually quite old, so it could be up to Victorian age, is that possible?
Found some more pottery.
Just found some more pottery, and then obviously you got your modern stuff like a plastic bottle and cigarette papers and stuff like that.
Considering when we started we just marked out the squares and swept the leaves away, then might not look much, but we've done the hard part, the scraping, and we might go a bit more nuclear with the shovels tomorrow and mattocks, so we might get further, and yeah, it's been okay.
Have you had any finds?
A couple of very small bits of pottery, and that's been about it. The rest of it's been sweetie wrappers and polystyrene and bits of old settees.
We dig things stratigraphically, so that means take by layer, and every time there's a change in the soil, it means there's been a change in the activity that's happened. Using trowels and hand shovels, we took things very carefully and removed any finds and made sure that they were numbered up with the place they'd been in the ground.
You go down one layer at a time, so by doing that you're able to get a time frame for the various finds and build a gradual picture and try and understand exactly how the site was put together. So by excavating it in reverse order, as it were, you get a view of how it was made.
As we came to sort of, what was clearly another layer of soil, the surface layer again was brushed and troweled, and then when we got through that, it was back to more physical methods.
In one trench we've gone down probably, I'd say, about 4 foot now. We'll probably get down another 2 or 3 feet before the end of the dig. In the other trench over here, the ground is a lot more compact and there's more tree roots in the way, so possibly won't get quite so far in that trench. But yeah, we'll just keep digging until the day before we have to fill it all in. One particular resident, at the beginning of the week, when we set out with our wheelbarrows and trowels, came over and said, "You're all mad digging in mud."
They said, "Oh, come and have a look," and then I got introed into digging an hole with a trowel, and then it got deeper and deeper, and as the day went on, it got interesting. It was hard at first getting used to scraping it back because I'm used to just digging it with a shovel and a spade, but it gets easy.
Just finding things, it makes you more interesting, you want to come back and find more. I thought it wouldn't be boring at first, but got into it and had a laugh. Go through different textures and that. I've probably never dug this far before in my life.
Rich, can you just measure off how much that red layer is down there, how deep it is?
It's about 9.5 centimetres. Been quite amusing because you see the top bits real dark, and then as you get down it's getting lighter and lighter, it's changing colour every time.
It's interesting to observe the interactions between the archaeologists and the residents, and it's been really good, a good vibe, I think, a good atmosphere. It is hard work. It's surprisingly hard work.
The further we got down, the more residents were keen, on time, turning up with boots, ready to work.
The way that it was organised was there was a dig in the morning, then people came back at lunch, and at lunch it was just, oh, you've got to see what we're doing, you've got to see what we found, and the first whole pipe that was found, and the telephone box card that was found, and the flyer for the film, all this sort of stuff was enthusiasm generating.
As we was finding stuff, we had to pass it to Navid and we had to put it in a finds tray. And then it was just getting interesting because we was finding more and more bits, and they were getting older and older and older.
It was remarkable how excited everyone got very, very quickly at finding a best before date on a crisp packet. When, you know, it would normally take hours and days of trawling through books to find the typology of a traditional archaeology find. So I think from that respect it got quite exciting finding everyday rubbish, but actually because it's in context, because it tells a story, it has a huge amount of meaning.
These don't look like anything now, but when they're all cleaned up and you've got 5 or 6 Mars bar wrappers and they're all from like 10 years, you can see the change in the font and what was going on at the time.
And they've gotten smaller as well.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
In the upper surface layers we found a lot of modern material culture related to the homeless use of the site. But as we got further down, we found evidence for possibly the previous pavilion that was there and the use of the site before that. The oldest thing we found was a piece of medieval pottery, so that takes the use of the site all the way back to the 1400s.
Most of the stuff we've been finding is sort of this red bricky kind of material. There's loads and loads of that, which suggests there's been like older buildings here in the past and stuff. We've found loads of bits of slate as well, that's from buildings too. Oh, this is quite interesting, just a massive lump of glass. We're not entirely sure what that's from. The only thing that we've really thought of is it's just where someone's been making things out of glass and it's just a waste, something that went a bit wrong, or just the leftovers.
In terms of the finds, we expected to find cans, bottles, evidence of smoking tobacco. That's fairly consistent with most homeless sites I know. But I had expected to find a lot more needles and a lot more drug paraphernalia altogether. In fact, what I've found really interesting is that we have found the wrappers that syringes are supplied in, but we've not found one single needle or needle cap that goes on the top of the needle, which to me shows that people have used heroin here, but they've been a lot more conscientious about getting rid of their needles in a safe way.
What's this you got here, Rick?
I've got a bullet that we think it might be a blank, but it's quite a nice find for a rifle.
one half of the doing this process is digging it, and the other half is making a good record of it. So I'm doing all the recording of what we find and that sort of thing. Knowing that we're going to be getting down to Victorian levels, you kind of expect what to find, but then finding the blank bullet and finding the phone card and things like that, they're a little bit different and interesting, and sort of what makes it a little bit worthwhile, like finding fun stuff like that.
I just found a massive chunk of clay pipe, but telling by the thickness of it, it's quite old, because normally the later it is, the thinner it gets, so it's going by the thickness of it, that's quite an old piece of pipe. I'd give that at least 1800s, if not earlier. As you can tell, the different sizes between the two pipes, this is a later one and that's earlier. Because of the sheer diameter of it, the skills to make a thinner pipe come in a lot later than to make a thicker pipe. Well, clay pipes are like the rollies of their day. It's kind of like easily disposable, but so yeah, they're easily disposable, so you broke it, you just threw it away, so that's why we've got it. Just shows there's been humans here for at least 200 years probably.
Have a mixture of residents and students to each trench. I mean, I was working with Ray for the first few days, worked with Lisa a bit as well. It helped to get a real understanding of how A, the site worked, and B, how each other worked.
Having students from the Department of Archaeology in York working in the same trench with residents who have been homeless means that we're coming from completely different backgrounds, but we're all looking in the same hole at the same stuff. And none of us know what we're going to find. And when we do find things, the artefacts are the thing that we're all focusing on, not whether or not someone's got a PhD or whether or not that person used to have a drug problem. So by looking at the artefacts and interpreting the artefacts together, not only are we facilitating social inclusion in a real way, but also very often the homeless people are allowing us, the academic archaeologists, to understand what it is that we're finding.
We actually had a bit of banter and everything as we was digging, so it was good because they took us for who we were, not what we would do, not what we were in the hostel or anything like that.
Every little thing they found they were quite interested in, whether it was a shard of pottery or a packet of crisps from the 1980s or sweet wrappers.
It's really good to see people try and dig in for the first time and just really get into grips with all the finds and having a nice time, so yeah, it's been really good.
The residents were very engaged and very interested, and that their engagement and enthusiasm improved during the week and increased, and the confidence and the professionalism increased as well.
It's an awful lot harder than I imagined. Ended each day sort of feeling like quite pleasantly worn out, although by the second day practically all the muscles in my entire body hurt. But, yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, no, working with the people of ArcLight, it's been really, really good experience. Actually, really enjoyed this week, and yeah, no, hopefully can carry on doing it and do a bit more of it. So, yeah.
I didn't think we'll find anything, to tell you the truth.